Let's start off with the Kenya shilling, which is ending the new month. Where do you think it's likely to end?
Well, given the analysis that you've given of end month demand, and of course some of the things that have been happening in Kenya, the announcement by the US government that Mombasa is risky and the terror attacks, probably the Kenya shilling might be affected much more than we expected. And of course it will weaken in the short term. But that would be just for a moment. I mean, a week or so, we'll see it going up again.
There's the usual end month demand and pressures you like, but then there's this development yesterday where there's the grenade attack in Mombasa that killed one and several other people injured. This just complicates matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. Mombasa is a key town for the Kenyan tourism sector. And I mean, first, the announcement that this town is not safe by the American government just put everybody, threw everybody off balance. And then that was sort of confirmed or vindicated by the attack, the grenade attack yesterday in the city. Obviously, that would make tourism to suffer in the short term, and the market might feel the repercussions of those happenings.
In all fairness, we have been here before, this terror attacks, some of them very intermittent, but the frequency appears to be increasing, and that does not bode well for the country's attractiveness internationally.
The terror attacks that we are experiencing right now as a result of the war that Kenya is waging against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. And of course, the repercussions are Al-Shabaab is not an enemy that is wearing a uniform that you know that, hey, there he is coming. So that there have been a lot of guerrilla attacks, or if you call it terror attacks in Kenya, all around the country. Hopefully that this war will be concluded this year, and then next year we can go back to norm, because the norm is right. The number of terror attacks that have happened in the country, you would count them in one palm, and there are not as many.
William, how likely or how bad is the likely impact of this for tourism stocks?
Quite bad. It's summer, and there's a lot of tourists expected over summer, because it's summer in Europe and North America, and that's an important tourist source for Kenya. And so counters like TPS Serena and Sarova will indeed feel the pinch, but it will probably go beyond that into counters like Kenya Airways because of the traveling element. So on the overall, it might not, I mean, define how whether investors stay in the market or they do not, but it will define which counters they go for. And in this case, they will share off the tourism counters.
You talked about Kenya Airways, an interesting development. South African Airways actually reducing its fares in some of its African routes where it competes very competitively with the Kenya Airways, the other big player there, which today just signed a deal with the Afrexim Bank to buy new planes. What are your thoughts on this? Well,
new planes would be very good for Kenya Airways. I mean, it's a very good company structurally, but to boost its operations, which have been an issue in the past, it definitely needs to build capacity. They had gone into the rights issue hoping to get money to do that. It looks like the amount of money they got was not sufficient, and they still need financing, and that hence this agreement with the bank to look for financing. That would essentially mean better operations, and better operations would translate into better profits, and that would make it a stronger company.
Kenol Kobil, the listed oil market, starting the week on a high, the biggest gainer today. We're expecting more news about Puma Energy. What are investors interpreting that maybe the rest of us don't know?
I mean, Colonel Kobil is really making the shots right now in the market, and partly because of its profit warning, and partly because of the interest that Puma Energy has on it. So that now investors are looking at it as that stock that could make a difference. The one thing you want to put money in, knowing that the reward might be multiple.
All right, so let's move away from that and finish off with some capital raising initiatives. Diamond Trust Bank, a rights issue on the offing, and then the Capital Markets Authority also approving a corporate bond from a consolidated bank which is not listed.
Right. Diamond Trust Bank, I mean, have successfully gone through the approval steps, and they are coming into the market to look for more money. It would appear that in Kenya, the bigger you are, if you're a bank, the merrier it is, the more money you will make.
Right.
And Diamond Trust Bank has realized that and say, I think we can do better. So they want more money to go to more places and make more money in return. Now, as to whether that rights issue will be successful or not is something we are keenly looking at. Personally, I would say that right now investors are not necessarily afraid of the market, but they want to very well identify what is in the offing. And I think Diamond Trust Bank would be successful. As for Consolidated Bank, again, the same thing. The beauty of not being listed is that usually supply is limited.
Yes.
And when supply is limited, more and more people want a piece of the cake, and that works for Consolidated Bank.
So overall, you're very bullish on those two different capital raising initiatives.
I particularly am. Of course, the timing is not the best.
Right.
First, due to the fact that there is the issue of political risk, given that it's an electioneering period.
Okay.
And of course, previous efforts in the market have not been as successful.
Most notably
this
being
very year.
Most notably being Kenya
Kenya
Airways.
Airways.
We'll leave it there.
Yes.
William Odhiambo, Managing Director at Elim Consulting.
Okay.
Many thanks for coming on the program.